All right, sports fans, welcome back for another episode of The Fan in the End. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rychel, being joined by Mr. Marvin Powell. I gotta give give Ben the invite again. He'll be here in a minute, my friends. In a minute. Gotta love technology.
Yeah.
I gotta send this to myself and then send it to him. But we got a lot of fun stuff today. I know Marvin's not too happy with what's going on in in USCville, and I'm gonna just start it off with this, so you can kind of run with this for a minute. Obviously, USC falls short last night to TCU, and TCU took no time to take shots. Obviously, Matt Leinart had a comment earlier in the day. Trojan legend quarterback there. Basically, nobody cares. I promise. And then TCU basically quote tweeted the post after the game was like cry on with the deuces fingers. Marvin, I know you're normally Mr. Mild Mannered and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure you're pretty hot right now. So one, tell me your thoughts on that clapback from TCU, but also tell me how you feeling about your USC Trojans right now. What do you think you got to do to fix this?
Listen, all of the junk that TCU's talking is fair game. They should. They knew they had no business being in this game. And if you watch the majority of the game, you kind of feel like USC was in control. Lincoln Riley is in his fourth year, going into his fifth year now. No playoffs. Granted, he's he has a couple of trophies that he's put in our trophy case. He's won the Heisman at USC. He's won the Blitnikoff at USC. But at the end of the day, it's about national championships. And to be that caliber of team, I mean, you got to have something in you. And against TCU, it really reminded me of our 2024 season. If you look at the last play of the game against TCU, it was 3rd and 20 in overtime, and TCU was setting up for a field goal. They were trying to get in better position for a field goal at the end of the game, and they ended up catching, a short route that went beyond 20 yards. They scored a touchdown. And the truth is, we weren't physical when we needed to be physical, and we didn't finish when we needed to finish. And I'm really wondering for the first time, really, does Lincoln Riley get it? Does he understand the culture of this program and what we're supposed to be doing? And, it's heartbreaking for USC Nation to sit here and watch this TCU bowl game and see TCU come out on top. That's just it just tells us that we're not where we need to be at all. And, I'm wondering, really, for the first time, I'm really thinking to myself, is he the guy? Does he really understand this culture? And this is us coming off of a period a week ago where we announced we're not playing Notre Dame anymore, which no former USC player or alumni is really happy about that Jen Cohen and Lincoln Riley allowed us to move forward without having Notre Dame on our schedule. We've been playing Notre Dame for 100 years. We've only not played them during World War II and during COVID. We missed them 1 year. And I just wonder if these outside people who we've hired understand this culture and what it's supposed to be. Our roster, our NIL, everything that we should have done was in place to beat TCU, and it's really just unacceptable. You know what I mean? And I feel like Lincoln is he develops quarterbacks. We're not going to say he doesn't. He's good at offense. Not going to say he's not. But we're not beating teams that we should beat, and that really starts with TCU. And it's just, I haven't had this level of frustration with him during his tenure, but now I'm starting to realize that a lot of what you're hearing about him, just being soft or just not being tough, or he's the Ken from Ken and Barbie. You know what I'm saying? We don't need that. We need an MFer in there. We need a son of a B. That's what we need. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's the kind of coach you need. We don't need this nice stuff. Was Saban nice? You know what I'm saying? Like you mean no, you think Bear Bryant was nice? You think John McKay, John Robinson? I mean it's just I'm still wondering if he fits and he gets it. You know, I was asked a question on Locked On USC: is next year a boom or bust for Lincoln Riley? And I said it's not. It is. It is. We have the #1 recruiting class. Most of these kids will be enrolled in the next 2 weeks. We signed 34 players. We signed like 25 blue chip players, meaning they're 4 or 5-star players. And typically you don't want to rely on freshmen, but I'm seeing freshmen ball out in college football. So my thing is this: getting to the playoffs isn't it. If we don't win a playoff game next year, he has to go. Give him his money. He signed for $120 million. Give him his money and let's get an MFer in there. Let's get a dude who really understands that football is played from the inside out. If you're not tough at the line of scrimmage, if you're not tough on in the front seven, if you can't tackle, you're not going to be successful in college football. So it's really disappointing right now. And again, for the first time in his tenure, I'm really wondering if he's the guy, because at this point he has to show us something. When you look at what we've committed to in football financially, and you take that with what the standard is at USC, he's not meeting it. You know what I'm saying? And he's had 4 years, and you can argue that he walked into a situation that wasn't great at USC. I admit that we had a lot of things weren't in order, but after 4 years, I think it is what it is. I think he is what he is. And if we don't have a successful season with a playoff win being the floor, USC has to get him out of there. They have to get his ass out of there. And it's not, and this is an opportunity for him to show and prove. You know what I'm saying? Because we have our entire offensive lines coming back. Our quarterback is coming back. Our running backs are coming back. We have decent players on defense coming back. Not including what's going to happen in the transfer portal, which we're going to spend some bread. And again, we're bringing in the number one class, which has a lot of really good players. So, as a USC alum, as the son of a USC alum, next year is it for him. I mean, it's it for him. We're going to Penn State. Ohio State's coming to us. I think we're going to go to Michigan. We're going to Indiana. Oregon's coming to town. I don't care. If we can't win a playoff game next year, that dude has to get up out of here, and I mean that. And I hope we're successful. Of course, I hope we're successful, and I hope him being a head coach, he's attached to that. So I'm rooting for these guys, and I'm still pushing for them. But I've seen enough. And last night was probably the most disappointed I've been really since in his whole tenure. And it's just it ain't it, man. The standard is the standard. You know what I mean? And he ain't up to this point. I'm not seeing anything from this guy at all. So it was horrible last night, Steve. It was a horrible situation to watch them on 3rd and 20, not only convert but score a touchdown. And we missed like 5 tackles on this guy. I mean, it was just unbelievable. So yeah, people, USC alums, USC Nation woke up this morning. You asked me earlier, good morning. I was like, not really. It's not a good morning. You know what I mean? So.
We've all been there, Marvin. We've all been there, and I want to give Ben a chance to talk on this, how this all started. Obviously, Marvin's woke up on the wrong side of the bed because his USC Trojans choked one up to TCU. But I came across this graphic because I knew he was going to be hot today, right? Obviously, we seen him to just go basically on a 6-7 minute rant right there. So came across this when Matt Liner, they basically was like, no one cares, I promise, talking about the TCU game. And TCU, the Horned Frogs clapped back on him, saying "Cry on with the Deuces." Right? What are your thoughts on this one, Ben? Obviously, you just heard Marvin lay into his boys right there. Is it the playoffs or bust or for Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans next year, my friend?
Absolutely. I mean, Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma, right, and he went to SC. And I remember when he got hired, not only did he go to Oklahoma, he took Caleb Williams with him. So they both went out there, right? Here's the thing about Lincoln Riley, right? I think you hit it on the head, Marvin. He is great at developing quarterbacks. He is great at offensive play calling. And that's it. Just go all the way back to Oklahoma. They had to outscore teams. The final score will be 51-48. It'll be 39-29. Like Lincoln Riley says, okay, everybody said, hey man, going to SC, man, you got to develop that defense. SC already has money, infrastructure, resources. You don't lack anything, and location. Lincoln, and they told Lincoln Riley, look, man, it's all cool year 1, year 2, right? Because you filling it out. You already gave us a freaking #1 overall pick and a Heisman. Well, you did that twice at Oklahoma back-to-back years with Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. But SC is saying, no, dude, we got so many Heismans, we can donate some to other schools, and we still got more than them. What about winning the Natty? You know why Matt Leinart said no one cares? Because Matt Leinart said, I got to talk about this today. I'm an analyst on TV. I got to talk about it. The last time SC won a Natty, Matt Leinart was quarterback. They won back-to-back national championships. They always did the three-peat, and obviously that Rose Bowl against Texas. Here's the thing about Lincoln Riley, right? Lincoln Riley thought he could hide going to SC. He thought he could live off his resume for what he done at Oklahoma. No one cared about what you did at Oklahoma and SC. Most people from SC don't even know what Oklahoma is on the map. Like, well, I don't know what that is. Like, where is that at? Is that by Georgia? They don't know. SC cares about SC and winning his bowl game. I think he's 3-5 in bowl games. I don't care if LaDainian Thomas is at TCU. I don't care if the Red Rifle is at TCU. You cannot lose to TCU. This is no disrespect to TCU. Let me start by saying this. TCU, Texas Christian, come on, man. What are we talking about? And if you are Lincoln Riley, if you're going to look like that in the bowl game, just opt out. I don't even want to play. What? And we ain't going to play in it. Because if you don't play in it, at least you get the perception of saying, well, we just, we don't want to waste our time. We want to get straight to 2026. But when you play in it, Matt Leinart, don't give it. People only don't care if you lose. You notice it, right? No one cares if you lose. Well, you win. And TCU is going to use SC to recruit now. We can beat SC. We play SC. See, that's the part about the game that I don't like is SC top to bottom is better than TCU. Top to bottom. But what happens is the game keep going on and you're giving these young men momentum. The game with a touchdown, young man, just push him out of bounds. I don't got to make a tackle. Push him. And then he scores. And now Lincoln Riley is like, people like, hey, Lincoln, how do you feel? Well, we got to. And Marvin knows this. Number one recruiting class don't matter when you win. I got to win with them. I played with Lindell White with the Titans. He said, dude, that culture at SC is different, man. Him and Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart, and you talked about that Taylor kid, the freaking safety. It was Troy Polamalu, it was the Taylor kid. Both of them knocking people out. Oh my God. So I think for SC is one of the top 15 brand in America. TCU don't even register as a brand. They are not. A Horned Frog? No. The last time we seen TCU in a game that mattered, they would get the doors blown off them in the national championship by Georgia. That has been their claim to fame. LaDainian Tomlinson, Andy Dalton getting blown out in the national championship. That is their whole legacy right there in 3 sentences. So I do agree with Marvin. It's like, what are you doing, Lincoln? You didn't come over here to be okay-ish. And nothing against Mel. This ain't UCLA. Now, at UCLA, they'll take that every day of the week. They'll love Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley got $100 million. He got 24-hour access to the private jet. I think his wife and kids do. They paid for both of his. He had 2 homes in Norman, Oklahoma. They paid for both of them $1 million, $500,000, not counting that man money, to be average. No, Lincoln. The only reason we care about West Coast football is SC. That's taking nothing away from Oregon. That's taking nothing away from Stanford. That's taking nothing away from Cal. No one cares about the West Coast except for SC. And maybe Washington. Maybe UW. When they're good. So, yeah, no one, when the last time I gave somebody $100 million for them to be average? That doesn't happen. And I know it's not our money, but
not in college. It happens in the NFL all the time. It happens in baseball all the time as well.
But the whole thing
happen a whole lot in college football.
But the thing about it is, Steven, is this: I remember when Lincoln Riley became the head coach of Oklahoma, they went through the whole recruiting process, and Bob Stoops said, I'm going to step down. But they went through the whole recruiting process first, get the recruits there, and then he stepped down. When Lincoln Riley left to go to SC, that was a huge deal. We was like, what? He's leaving. Now, let me get this straight. Let me say, Oklahoma is a top 15 coaching job. SC, I was like, okay, I get that. But I was like, but only if you get Caleb Williams. Oh, Caleb Williams in the transfer portal. Rest is history. But that's another thing, too. You had Caleb Williams. And you still wasn't getting it done. You were playing well, but you weren't. Look, I can respect what Oregon has Nike. Oregon ain't got no legacy, man. Like when people, Oregon is a team that loses to the team that wins. That's what they do. And they're going to do it this year, too. You just watch. SC was a team that nobody used to want to play. I remember when I was in college, and yes, that's the West Coast. They used to broadcast SC on ABC. Like, you got to see these dudes. I'm like, who are these dudes? You talking about the dudes they got like that Trojan looking red with them? They wore the black cleats. That's what I said. They wore black cleats. Yeah, they'll beat the brakes off you too. So I think for me, what I know of SC, all the way back to the Junior Seau days, OJ, it's just too many guys. Lincoln Riley, don't mess with that legacy, man, because that's what he's doing. Former SC guys, Keyshawn Johnson going crazy right now. He's doing a rant.
No, he was going crazy 2 weeks ago. Keyshawn was going crazy 2 weeks ago before we
because well, think about this, Stephen. Look, Stephen, if your parents left you and your brother, a bunch of money, and they said, hey man, but they also left you the family business. And your brother running into the ground, they do what you. He's running it into the ground for all of us to see. And guess what? That's not the legacy of SC, man. SC is not, doesn't matter who coaches UCLA. No, they got the coach from JMU. That's their coach.
I got a question for you, Marvin.
So, crazy.
Who's going to be the coordinator in 2026?
Yeah, shout out to my cousin Earl, who's a big fan and supporter of South Florida Tribune. It looks like we're going to get this guy out of Texas, Pete Kowin. I can't pronounce his last name. He has like 26 letters. But the guy from Texas has had a top 25, top 30 defense pretty much for the last, I don't know how many years. He obviously is an upgrade from Danton Lynn, who did a good job for us. USC was ranked 100 in defense before we got Danton Lynn. Within 1 year, Danton Lynn had us at number 50, which is better than 100. And then last year, I think we were in the 40s, which is better than 50. So we did upgrade with Danton Lynn. He's now on to Penn State. But the defensive coordinator out of Texas is looking like the guy. That's what I'm hearing. I'd say it's going to be it'll be a good hire for us. But again, it doesn't matter, college or pro. It's about leadership, and the leadership at USC starts with Lincoln Riley. And it's just not. Yeah, there you go. This is not.
Man, look at that last name. Wow, that's the last name, man. I got to.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's crazy though that Marvin even we said, look, when people ask why is college such a different level of fandom and love than the NFL, well, we went to these schools. Now it's different for a Marvin whose daddy played for. That's different, but most of us. We ain't really loyal to these NFL teams. They gave us an opportunity, and we appreciate it. It's different when you talk about the school. You picked SC. You see what I'm saying? You picked, Florida. You picked LSU. So when I'm gonna tell you who up next though. If you don't get it done, Lane Kiffin. If Lane Kiffin goes to LSU, and he don't win no natty, they're gonna be like, because what I don't get is this though. We expect coaches to do something we ain't never seen them do. I ain't never seen Lincoln Riley win on that championship. Real good at Oklahoma now. Real good. Had back-to-back. I think he's the only coach in college history to have back-to-back Heismans and back-to-back number one overall picks. Baker Mayfield did it, then Kyler Murray came right behind him. But here's the thing. You go to SC, they thinking, all right, can you get us over the – yeah, I can do it. If I'm staying at $100-something million, I ain't going to say no too much. I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Whatever you need, yep. But when you get there, there go Snoop, there go Keyshawn, right? There go Marcus Allen. They standing right there. And look, they going, dang. They just, yeah, Lincoln, they been here. Them are legends. They built They built this that you're looking at. And they saying, don't F this up. And guess what? He's effing it up. And Lincoln ain't gonna last because SC matters. I don't want to hear about a coach that been in the team. This guy been here 30 years. He ain't never won a bunch of games. Winning a bunch of games don't matter at a place like SC. They want to win it all. Just like the Lakers. And that's the standard at certain places. There's two kinds of standards in college football now. You got national championship standard and being consistent standard. And a lot of teams fall in that second category because they ain't never won nothing. So they wouldn't know nothing about Vanderbilt football trophy case. Look just like Ole Miss. They ain't won nothing. So,
I'm glad we're talking about standards because Jerry Jones doing Jerry Jones things. I don't know if you've seen his comments last week because he doing his own standard, right? Because he is in the belief that every team that they play, they look at the Dallas Cowboys as their Super Bowl contenders. Can I live in Jerry Jones's world and just be that delusional? Because listen. No one's thinking of the Dallas Cowboys as Super Bowl anything. It's been 30 years, guys. It's been 30 years. Yeah. So me and you've talked about this, Ben. His standard isn't winning playoff games, isn't winning championships. His is being number one in that news cycle.
Yeah.
And listen, as an Eagles fan, again, all the best doctors in the world need to be Jerry Jones's doctor. He needs to live to be 120, man, because I want to ride this horse until the till the horseshoes fall off, man. Because listen, if he's going to continue to run the show, this is what you're going to get. I've said it again. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you need to pray that somebody is in his ear that can actually talk him into, like, listen, you be the owner, stay up there in the owner's box. Let us take care of all this down here. You can be the face of whatever. You can take whatever credit you want, but let us do the actual work. That's the only way they're going to be that standard that he was just explaining, that people thinking them as Super Bowl contenders. I think they have a very good team, but I think they're, as of right now, going into next year, they're like $36 million over the cap. So I don't know what standard he's talking about, and as an Eagles fan, as them being one of my rivals, I'm absolutely glad that he's the one running this ship. I'm gonna start off with Ben, and then we go to Marvin on this. What is Jerry Jones talking about?
Stand on brand. It's all about branding for him, and he's the best at it, right? He looks at it like this: if we're not gonna win games, we're gonna win clicks. People gonna be talking about us. People gonna be.
Donnie, we'll get you in a minute. We got.
Because here's the thing about the Dallas Cowboys, right? Somebody told Jerry Jones, man, we're gonna call it America's team, and we're gonna brand this thing, man. We're gonna brand it, and we're gonna have the biggest, most obnoxious, just hard to deal with fans on the planet, and they do that. The worst fans to deal with in professional sports are Cowboys fans. They are way more delusional than freaking Jerry Jones. They will say some stuff. You got two Cowboys fans arguing with each other, holding up the line, saying nonsense. They are the greatest. Hashtag wait till next year. Because that's what they're going to tell you. Okay, you wait till next year. Well, we've been waiting till next year. This is VHS tapes, pre-DVD. We talking about no cell phones. We done went from cell phones. We talking about sidekicks. We talking about smartphones.
They were doing it in the Pagers days, man. They were doing it in the Pager days. And you're sitting there talking about VHS. DVDs are dead. It's Blu-ray now.
Jerry Jones understands that I want to control news cycles, because Jerry says, well, if we're not going to make the playoffs, what can we do? Be the most talked about team in sports. People talk about the Dallas Cowboys like NBA analysts have to talk about LeBron. They talking about him for no reason. I mean, when you let go, I'm going to let go of Trevon Diggs. Why? Just because. I'm just going to let him go.
I got the story on that, and we'll get to that right.
You know what I'm saying? So I, as a a couple of friends of mine, I had some friends that obviously played for Dallas, and they was like, "Man, it's crazy because you like a rock star in Dallas." I said, "Yeah, but you ain't rock stars outside of Dallas. You ain't rock stars in Houston. You ain't rock stars in Austin. You ain't rock stars in San Antonio and Waco and El Paso." He goes, "Yeah, but in Dallas, Fort Worth." I go, "But the problem is we can see y'all. Like y'all talk like y'all are some like mythical type part of the, universe that we can't touch and see. Y'all have an owner who has a son that sits beside him that can't even talk to his daddy, Jerry. So he's on a walkie-talkie. Who are you talking to on that walkie-talkie, Stephen Jones? Like, this stuff is crazy. I'm like, when the last time you held a walkie-talkie? Like, is he saying, "Mom, I'm standing right here next to Dad, over. Can you talk to him?" What? It's the Dallas Cowboys. Nothing surprises me with Dallas. Dallas is the reason why Tony Romo can walk out of the NFL and go straight to the booth with Jim Nantz. Because he was a Dallas Cowboys quarterback, right? And he's okay. He's not bad. But yeah, every time I play the Dallas,
we've had 3 former Cowboys go right from the field, right to Fox Sports. It was Troy Aikman,
yep,
Daryl Johnson,
yep,
and Tony Romo.
I mean, and mind you, Daryl Johnson does a good job. Troy Aikman is contractually obligated out of 17 weeks, 9 of them gonna be the Cowboys games, and all he gonna do is talk about his time when he was with the Cowboys, him and Joe Buck, and I ain't mad at him. But the crazy part about it is, Marv and Steven, if there are 2 Dallas Cowboys fans that's saying that to somebody right now, every time somebody plays us, we like Super Bowl contenders. What? Yeah. And somebody, think about this.
But Jerry's the one putting it in their ear to make them think it's something that's a legitimate thing.
There are psychiatrists out there who have Dallas Cowboys fans as clients, and it took them 2 years to realize, "Oh, you serious? Yeah. Oh, you're not. Yeah, I thought you wanted to know how I felt. So you really think the Cowboys are the greatest team?" Absolutely. And it's like, well, I'll see you next week. All right. So I'm not surprised. It's the Cowboys. I just think that it's so crazy that it's funny. It's sad that we have gotten to a point where an 80-some-year-old billionaire doesn't know what to do with his other toys. His greatest toy is Dallas. And look, he created his own radio network. He does interviews. He's doing an interview right now. He's doing a podcast right now, talking about himself on the podcast. So, hey, man, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him.
All right, Marvin, your thoughts on Jerry's comments here?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ben really hit it on the head there. I mean, it's about branding and marketing, and we were all sold on the Cowboys being America's team. That's what's publicized. That's what they talk about. That's the only team you hear referenced as America's team. Like, this is the team that we all care about. It's not. You know what I'm saying? This is the team that we all like and want to watch. It's not. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
And then when you look at, today, I mean, every season, Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, they're headlining with the Cowboys. We make the Cowboys much more relevant than they really are. You know what I'm saying? Which is, and I think we're all conditioned and trained to believe that they're relevant, and they're not. But the reality is this, and Ben said it. I mean, you see their biggest stars. I mean, immediately after retirement, they're in the booth. They're the ones creating the narrative. They're the ones who can help control the narrative. And it's just so much Dallas Cowboy reinforcement in the media that it's just like, it has us shooken up and, thinking that they're relevant. And Jerry Jones is leading that. You know what I'm saying? He believes that it's 1990. He believes that he has, the triplets in there. You don't. You know what I'm saying? You had Romo got a lot of press when he was playing. Romo was a good player. Romo ain't win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Romo came close to Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Dak Prescott, I'm happy for him and his family they got the bag, got that big contract and a lot of hype. And, and Dak's a good quarterback. I do like Dak. Dak can play. But what has Dak done in the postseason? Seriously, like what have they done? You can argue that
5 in the postseason, and we talked about this last week. You put Dak anywhere else, he's in those 10 years. I guarantee you, he's a multiple-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, again, I like that, but the reality is, with the current brand, the team he's on, nothing. You know what I'm saying? And to Jerry's credit, Jerry spends that money. He does. He gets his guys signed for the most part. I mean, obviously the whole Micah Parsons thing, people have feelings about that, but listen, they pay their guys, man, and the reality is they're not getting the results. You can argue that the Cowboys and the Raiders are the same. No, they ain't got no championships recently. The Cowboys and the Jets are the same. They ain't got no Super Bowls recently. And if you don't have a Super Bowl, if you ain't number one, then you just like anybody else. You're the loser. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they've been, but we don't recognize them as that because they've done phenomenal branding, phenomenal marketing. They find themselves, all the sports outlets cover them. And again, when you have former Cowboys in the booth, they help control that narrative and keep that thought in your mind that the Cowboys are relevant, and they're not.
You ain't wrong there, Earl. They have no defense, but we're gonna stay on Dallas. And speaking of the defense thing, Ben alluded to it that they let Trevon Diggs go. Now, this is the report from our good friend Jordan Schultz, is that his understanding of the situation is after the Cowboys finished their Christmas game versus the Commander, Diggs had requested the head coach Brian Schottenheimer to stay in Washington for the holiday. Since he's from the area, his family was there. Players often ask for stuff like this, right? Usually granted an additional family time during the holidays. Schedule makes sense. Dallas played there Thursday, right? Schottenheimer denied the request. Diggs again said he wanted to be with his family, and if he went back to Dallas, he would just be flying right back on the first flight, especially that players having several days off. The team had vehemently denied the request again, and then yesterday, obviously, released Diggs. He's healthy. He's ready to join a new team for the playoffs. Man, this is a slap in the face. Jordan Schultz, he don't typically put stuff out there unless he's got the facts behind it. If that's the case, that is just something I wouldn't have been able to accept. You can. I'm not getting back on that flight just to fly back to the DC. Like they were without a doubt. They played their game. They were definitely going to have at least the next 2 days off. So why would you not allow the man to stay there in DC with his family? Man, we'll start off with Marvin on this one.
Yeah, again, as stated in the article, this is a common theme. It's a common thing where you have players who do request time off or the ability to stay in town. They're not gonna miss any meetings or miss any practice because they're gonna have days off. Listen, with these coaches, they make dumb decisions too. Coaches have ego. Coaches have feelings. Coaches get emotional. And typically those are going to be the lesser coaches, you know what I'm saying? And I think, I'm not, this is his first year with the Cowboys, and I don't know what kind of relationship Diggs and the head coach have. I don't know what kind of issues. You would have to think that there's something else there. Why Shotty would tell the guy no, it doesn't really make sense, but this is how you start. This is how you start locker room situations because other players see that. Other players see it, and it impacts them as well. You know what I'm saying? And when you see a guy, he's from DC, you just played your game, you did what you do, and you're not letting this veteran player who you've given the bag to stay in town, you have to wonder why. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, Dallas needs all the help they can get. As Earl just said, they ain't got no defense. You know what I mean? Diggs is a corner. He's had some good years. I think for the most part, he's been good for the Cowboys. So, this is maybe an issue with culture you're seeing, this bad leadership, but, it's bad not just for Diggs, but for the other players, man. And it's just other players in the league see that and they see how the coach is handling situations, and it's just not a good situation, man. So I hate to see the guy go because Dallas can use that guy, but I think this is one of those things where, you see coaches get hired, not do great and get fired, and then they get rehired again. They get rehired again, and they're able to learn from past mistakes, their first tenure, their first time they were a head coach, you know what I mean, and decisions they made that were bad. So hopefully this is something that everybody can learn from. Hopefully the impact in that locker room isn't going to be too bad. But trust me when I say Diggs wasn't happy, and his teammates weren't happy about that as well, because it's family. In football, that's all you preach is family. We're family. You know what I mean? And it's just it's a bad look, I think. I think it's a bad look, and ultimately, I think it's going to come back to hurt Shotty in some capacity, probably just with how his players view him and a certain amount of respect they may have for him.
Ben, your thoughts on the Trevon Diggs release and the basically the news report on the as why he was released?
It's weird, and I think there's a lot more to that story. You don't release a player because they want to stay back. When players get released, people go, yeah, when you hear something, you go, yeah, he probably gonna be gone because of that. I've seen kickers get released because they can't make a kick. I've seen Wes Welker get let go because he couldn't make a catch. I want to stay back. No. I want to stay back. No. No, what it is this is what I think really happened. I want to stay back, Shotty. No. Hey, Shotty, I'm staying back. No, he cussed him out. Oh, you not going, right? And Shotty, and just like Marvin said, the last time Trevon Diggs was good was in 2021. Well, he got his money after that big year when he was first team All-Pro. It's about what you're doing, not what you've done. You can't live off your resume. You got to live off what you're doing. You got to update it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more to this story. It's a lot going on because Diggs was real close with Michael Parsons. They used to call each other 7-11. They used to be real close. But the respect thing I think is very unique. What Marv said it. A lot of these NFL head coaches think me respecting your position don't mean I respect you. I respect your position. Most people respect their supervisors at work. That don't mean I respect you as a person. And I think these coaches, they don't understand that. Brian Schottenheimer was on one person's list. That was Jerry Jones. He wasn't on no head coaching list for no other squad. And I ain't mad at him. Sometimes they paying you to deal with the circus and deal with Jerry more than coach the team. But this right here, though, this is crazy. Wait a minute. That means that every player that gets to play in their home city is not going to ask to stay back. Because of something like that. That's number one. These are the type of things in the NFL that you don't even know you have an opportunity to do. Like, it takes a veteran to show the young guys, wait, we can do that? Yeah. Plus, look how much time
it's going to hurt Jerry in the negotiations because some of these players are going to be like, listen, you're going to have to pay me more because I gotta have my family travel around with us when we have games to go to during the holidays because you guys don't let players go spend times with the highway. This is going to hurt Jerry's pocket.
It hurts Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer is not respected as head coaches in the NFL. He's just a head coach. He's not respected like that. He hasn't done anything. And he's not going to make the playoffs. A lot of people can do what Brian Schottenheimer just did. Just coach the Dallas Cowboys and don't win. Well, Mike McCarthy did that. Garrett did that. A bunch of coaches have done that. But stuff like this speaks to the guys that actually do it. I'm sorry. The football players are who they coming to see, Brian Schottenheimer. And I know they're going to have a camera on Jerry Jones.
Jason Garrett is also a color commentator for
he is.
So on that Dallas point, but I mean, listen, it's just bad.
It's disrespectful for Brian Schottenheimer to do this because no matter what you say, Shotty, people gonna go, yeah, but you ain't built like that though. Like you ain't. Look, you see the kind of stuff Mike Tomlin's had to deal with in Pittsburgh, huh? You don't see the kind of stuff some of these coaches have had to deal with, and they still wasn't kicking guys off the team. They'll discipline them. But you know who's applauding this? GMs, other head coaches. Mm-hmm. But guess what? Somebody gonna snatch up Diggs. He's not hurt. He said he wants to go to a contender. I know a team.
I think he clears waivers today, but where do you think because you know he's going to a playoff team, right? So I would say where do you think he ends?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I think two teams is gonna look because of how you got to look at the defensive scheme. I can see a place like Denver because of how they use Surtain and those guys. I can look at a place like San Francisco because they play that type of defense. But be on the lookout for them Jaguars because you can add a player like that to a defense and just let him roam. Diggs is not he's an in phase. He's the guy that kind of want to run the route with the receiver, and he give up a lot of yards like that, but when he's good, he's good. So I can do what the team.
Like if you look at the thing that makes him special, he's a ball hawk. That's
so somebody gonna snatch him up, and when they snatch him up, and he goes to the Super Duper Bowl, I would take a team that could use him, depending on how Green Bay, they could use him.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Any team in the playoffs can use. Yo, Eagles can use him. He's freaking Diggs. He can play football.
No, I don't think that's where remember, Buffalo claimed Darius Slay and didn't get him. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he winds up, Buffalo.
I mean, any team he winds up with is gonna give a postseason check. I think give me any one of them. It ain't gonna matter. But Brian Schottenheimer.
That makes sense.
If Brian Schottenheimer thinks that this kind of stuff make him look good, he don't. Because guess what? Not a matter of if. When Brian Schottenheimer gets fired, they're going to use stuff like this. Oh, yeah, this is the reason why, man. I mean, he's taking better. I mean, under Brian Schottenheimer's watch, even though he having to do with it, Micah Parsons, a Green Bay Packer, right? Now Diggs is on the street. Somebody go claim him, and you're still not making the playoffs. So, hey, man, we'll see. We'll see.
We will see, but I mean, we know he's going to land somewhere, especially if he is healthy. I think the scheme is very important, like you were talking about, Ben. But I think the thing is the most is a team that's going to allow him to play to his strengths, not to conform to what the scheme is, because that's what made him special. But before he got that contract. Did he lead the league in interceptions 2 years in a row? Like his first 2 years in the league?
He was real good.
Give him that opportunity. Go ahead, Ben.
No. He was. But hopefully Diggs understand this too, though, right? Everything is everything. You get to learn some lessons from it. Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks that it wouldn't happen to me. Not if I'm a first team All-Pro.
Right.
See, sometimes I'm not. While I don't condone what happened to Diggs, I understand now. I don't condone it one bit. But Marvin knows this. You start smelling yourself too much, they're gonna be like, hold on there, youngin. Wait a minute now. I was with the Raiders when Lane Kiffin was the head coach, right? And these coaches all have to do something to kind of, get the team to respect them. Now, sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But the only you know how you get respect in the league? Win. That's how you get respect. You win, they're going to respect it.
I'm glad you brought up the Raiders, because we got to talk about the Raiders, right? And obviously, we're not going to talk about the game, but we're going to talk about what was going on with their players, because the report was they sat Maxx Crosby down. He left the team facility due to disagreement on his playing status. They basically put him on IR, said his knee was too bad, right? Was obviously upset with the team. The funniest part about this whole thing is later that day you see a post coming from Max's account running around with his kids playing basketball. So a lot of people are already sitting there, making lists of where Max's going to be next year. Like, listen, relax. He's under contract. I do think they're going to be. I think at least 7 head coaching vacancies after the next week's final regular season game. I do think there's a good chance that Pete Carroll's one and done in Las Vegas. I do. It may suck for him. They may be going back to back. I still thought it was a mistake when they let Antonio go, and when they let Antonio Pierce go last season, because I thought towards the end of the season they were putting it together. And then, you have the whole regime change with Pete this year, which was an absolute dumpster fire. They fired Chip Kelly. He's got a job now. Yeah. He's at Northwestern's offensive coordinator. Who keeps rehiring that guy? But, I mean, the Maxx Crosby situation is really interesting. I think it's let's be honest what this was. It's in front of our face. This was tank job 101. And if I'm Maxx Crosby, I'm very, very happy that he was upset, that he left the facility, that he basically showing the public I'm healthy. We talked about this last night, Marvin. There's a difference between injured and hurt, right?
Yeah.
And
You got a lot of guys.
At one time, everyone's banged up. You got something going wrong with you. Somebody's in the training room for something.
Mm-hmm.
He's a warrior. He wanted to play through that. Don't sit there and take the decision out of his hand, which is why he was probably upset in the first place. Hats off to Maxx Crosby for basically sticking it to the Las Vegas, front office. King on deck. We are going to get to that next. I promise you. Go ahead, Maxx Crosby. Just go quick with Ben, and then back to Marvin.
Maxx Crosby is a dog for real now. Like he's old school type mentality player. But two things could be true, right? Maxx Crosby is healthy enough to play. They ain't gonna let him play. But let me tell you what they're treating Maxx Crosby like a quarterback who's supposed to be the franchise. Hey man, for what? I mean, I want to get out there and do it. But let me tell you what also happened. He do the video, right? Social media has really reshaped how these youngins be thinking, right? They want to put out their own campaign. When he gets back to the facility, they're gonna say, "Come here, Max. What? Don't do that again." And you know who's telling them that? That would be Mark Davis. That ain't gonna be Pete Carroll. Don't do that. Look, we shut you down. We know you want to play, but don't do that because remember now, conduct detrimental to the team. We decide that, not you. We do. Now I don't think that's what he did, but here's the thing, right? That's how bad the Raiders are. I don't even want my stars to play. That's how bad they are. They are awful. Pete Carroll, to me, excluding what's going on with the Raiders, is the greatest coach ever. Look at what he did at college and pro. Just look. You don't got to like it. Just resume alone, right? But certain places, not even he could do it. Right? This is third time in the NFL now. He was in the NFL, then he went to SC, came back, right? Now he's trying to the Raiders. I don't know what's wrong with that organization. I got to play out there. It is everybody wants to talk about Jerry Jones and what he does. Jerry Jones, is he the owner of the Raiders too? Because it's even worse out there. Maxx Crosby is the type of player that everybody will want to play with. The energy that he brings to practice, how he holds himself accountable, how he holds his teammates accountable. That was probably the roughest conversation. They was like, "Hey man, you do it. You go tell hey Max, coach want to holler at you." What? We gonna shut you down, man. I'm not doing that. Listen though, they said you know what you haven't heard this whole time? Fine. He left. They didn't find him. Did the video? They didn't find him because they go, "Hey man, just let him go." I mean, I think he was in it. Don't he got like a home basketball? That's his basketball gym.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Yeah.
I will say this though. I guarantee you, I could be wrong now. Max gonna apologize. Not right now, because it's all about perception. Hey, I probably shouldn't have done that because they're gonna say these words. And Marvin, they're gonna say, Max, what? You a leader, man. Them young boys see you, they respect you. You right. We gonna lose the last two games anyway, with you on the field. So, and this is me being older, still repping the players, but I would go, Max, listen, man. You the only player that matters for the Raiders, not named Brock Bowers. And I love Ashton Jeanty. I couldn't take Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty, Maxx Crosby. I don't know nobody. Geno Smith, I guess. I don't know nobody else who played for the Raiders. Like Jacoby Myers, he played for the Jags. So, Max, I love the way you think, brother. I love the way you play. I love how you give it up. But sometimes I got to help you out on your own because of breaking news. Maxx Crosby tears his ACL. Yeah. It's because look, and Max, I know you on your court. How many times you can edit videos now? Like, did you just go on the court? Come on now. You did one, was it a shot or whatever he did? I could do that, but that don't mean my knees ain't hurt. You see what I'm saying? So, Max, be careful. It happened. But once again, this is Maxx Crosby looking at his Pete Carroll. This ain't Seattle Pete Carroll. This ain't SC Pete Carroll. This is Rick. He's saying, "Who is you, coach?" Who are you to shut me down? Well, you shut down, Maxx. And I guarantee you they took his helmet. They took his shoulder pads. He ain't got nothing in his locker, like, dude, because if it's there, he don't play. But, yeah, it happens. The Raiders are weird, man. It's some weird stuff going on out there with the Raiders. But whoever is the next Raiders head coach, good luck with that, because you can inherit a mess.
King on Jackson's question. Could the team truly be contemplating trading Maxx and don't want to risk getting him injured and drop his value? Even if like Ben said, they announced he tore his ACL tomorrow, I guarantee you if teams found out that he was on the trading block, they may not be able to get a first.
Y'all better not get him. I'm telling you, listen, Steven, I'm going to tell you this. Remember last year when I said, if y'all got Kyle Pitts, I'm not doing this show no more. I'm lying. I'm still going to do the show. If y'all get if Howie Roseman.
Why is he automatically coming to the Eagles?
No.
Because Howie's a dude.
Howie's good like that, man. Howie's good.
Hold on. I'm sorry. How did Jalen Phillips get there?
Because Miami was a dumpster fire and he wanted to go to a winner.
How did Dotson get there?
And I'm glad you mentioned it, because the Eagles have the best pass rush efficiency rate since Jalen Phillips got traded to the Eagles.
What I'm telling you is Howie Roseman, he could take that money, he could figure that thing. He can like a Rubik's Cube. He just know how to. And plus, you know what his selling point is? Yeah, this is Philly. Do you really got to sell Philly? No. Do you like cheese steak, young man? What I'm saying is,
and Max on a podcast, he loves Philly, man. If
anybody
played that game, he loves Philly.
Listen, what he say? What did Lil Wayne say? He tatted up like a Subway in Harlem. He tatted from the only part that ain't got tats is, I think, on his face. He's tatted up. He looked like. Look, I hope he's not a Philadelphia Eagle, but I would not be surprised if you don't end up. Listen.
Hey, I'm sure the Niners would love to have him, my friend. I'm sure they'd love to have him.
Anybody would love to have him except the Raiders.
Marvin, your thoughts on the Maxx Crosby thing, and then we're going to get to our main topic for this episode.
The big issue with Maxx is that asking him to not play really goes against his whole belief system. You know what I'm saying? Al Davis established, Raiders culture. You fight, you go win, you be tough, you never quit. Pete Carroll, his mantra, his number one thing he always says, always compete. You know what I'm saying? Maxx Crosby has been a guy on the Raiders who's been a leader, been one of the best players on defense, one of the best ends, and he's one of the guys who've been beating the drum for that team. You know what I'm saying? Just to try to keep the team up, keep the team going. When you ask him to sit and not compete so you can tank and you can try to get a top-notch quarterback, that goes against his whole belief system. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't want to be with an organization that's willing to quit, willing to tank and sit him out. He loves playing the game. He loves football. He loves everything that comes with it, the money and the fame, but he loves playing this game. So you telling this guy that he can't play and there's still opportunity for him to go out there and compete and try to win a game and try to get his stats or hit his bonus, whatever it may be, that's a problem for that guy. Everybody at this point is hurt. Everybody, there's not one player on any NFL team. I don't care if you're a practice squad, if you're a starter or a backup. You didn't go on through spring. You didn't go on through training camp. You didn't go on through preseason. You didn't go on through the season. You go on all these practices. Everybody has something wrong with them. And most of these guys are going to, some of these guys can have surgery at the end of the season. They can play it out, do that thing, and have their surgery at the end of the year. Maxx wasn't ready to quit on this team. He wasn't ready to stop playing. And when you ask him to sit out, he understands this is not where I want to be. They're trying to rebuild. They're not trying to compete right now. He knows they're out of the playoffs. He knows this ain't going to be no championship team, but he still wants to show up and fight, show up and play. You know what I mean? So, to a guy like that who's been around the block, he realizes what time it is. He realizes there may be a coaching change. He realizes that he got caught in a situation where, I'm not guess he's at the end of his career, but he's definitely second half of his career. You know what I'm saying? And this organization isn't trying to win championships right now. They don't have the mentality that he wants you to have. And I think the contradiction in his belief system and what they're asking him to do is a problem for him. You know what I mean? When you see him out there playing basketball, he's showing everybody, guys, I'm not hurt. I'm good to go. Because when I first heard he was playing ball, I'm like, are you crazy? But then I'm thinking about, this dude's all right. He's good enough to go out there and twist and dunk and crossover and do all that stuff on the basketball court, on the hardwood. He can play football. He's all right. So that was his point. So this is just a guy who wants to compete for championships, man. This is a guy who wants to play for a team who has higher expectations. NFL players ain't thinking about the draft. They're not thinking about, who they're going to draft. He don't care about that. These veterans aren't thinking about trusting some rookie, depending on some rookie. He wants to play right now. So yeah, man, this is not a fit for him. I think where he's at in his career and where the Raiders are is just not a fit. You know what I'm saying? So it is realistic that we've seen Maxx Crosby play his last down for the Raiders. And it's horrible because, again, not only is he an elite player, but he's a leader. You know what I'm saying? And you can't find the combination of those two things everywhere. It's tough, man. You know what I'm saying? So I hated to hear it. I'm a guy who I have tremendous respect for Max just for how he plays the game, the intensity, the consistency. And, I think you broke his heart, man. You broke his heart in regards to what are we trying to do here and why you stopped me from playing the game that I love. So, yeah, man, I think that was a tough situation. I think with the Raiders, and Pete Carroll, I mean, look, I think you got to give him a pass only because you realize this was a quarterback issue. He chose a quarterback. It was his quarterback. He chose to get the quarterback the bag. I get that. But I don't doubt that Pete Carroll can coach. I think just winning in college, being one of the few coaches, as Ben alluded to win championships in college and pro says a lot about who he is as a leader, as a head coach. So I'm hoping to get this guy another chance. Draft a young quarterback, give him a year or two, see what happens with that. Because in the NFL, if you don't have a quarterback, you just ain't going to happen. And Geno Smith, this really wasn't his year. I think Pete was reminiscent of a few good years, had in Seattle. But the quarterback play ultimately was one of the big issues they had. And with Chip Kelly, Steve, you mentioned Chip Kelly. Don't forget, Chip Kelly won a national championship at Ohio State as their OC. You know what I mean? So, it matters. It matters. What are you talking about? That's forever. He can go for the next decade and say, yeah, my offense won a national championship. As a leader,
someone else doing the recruiting.
As a leader of men, I don't know if he's the guy. I wouldn't want Chip Kelly as my head coach. But in regards to putting together an offense for college, he may be all right, man. I mean,
I remember what he told Ashton Jeanty at the beginning of the season that he had completely changed his stance as a running back.
I didn't agree with that, obviously. For a running back, you want him to be as natural as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
his stance and all that was fine. I don't know why he changed that, but, back to Crosby. The Raiders just lost one of their great players. I doubt he comes back and apologizes. I think he's pissed off, and I think he's pissed off for good reason.
We'll see if what happens this offseason, if we've seen Maxx Crosby last game as a Las Vegas Raider. But let's get into the main topic I wanted to kind of touch on. Obviously, the 49ers and Bears had a thriller on Sunday night football. And where it puts the 49ers right now, first and foremost, me and Ben, I'd like to personally apologize to Brock Purdy because we were very, very hard on him this offseason. We making fun of the contract, all that stuff. But Brock Purdy, what he's done with this team, there has to be a book, a TV show written about how he's bailed that front office off this season alone. Because as we were talking about yesterday, you wind up losing Debo, right? You don't have Brandon Ayuk, right? You lose you lose your best pass rusher, right? You lose Bosa. You had injuries all over this roster, and they were getting it done with Ricky Pearsall and all these guys. So does the NFL critics owe the 49ers and Brock Purdy an apology? I think they do, because we weren't, me and Ben weren't the only ones over here giving him crap this offseason, giving the Niners crap this offseason on giving Brock Purdy a big contract. Obviously, wanted to get King on deck's comments because he had already commented about almost like 10 minutes ago that he does feel like a lot of us owe Brock Purdy and the 49ers an apology, and I think we do, especially the your typical sports media heads. I mean, your First Takes, your Colin Cowherds, your Nick Wrights. Everybody was hard on this team, and we were counting them out. This is basically going to be the Rams division to run away with. And when you look at how everything played out, they overcame everything, and they are literally a win over the Seattle Seahawks to being a potential to be the first team to literally play their entire postseason on their home turf. If they wind up running the table, they play the Super Bowl in their home stadium. No team has done that yet, at least to my memory. I might be wrong. I think maybe the Dolphins did it back in the day, but I don't think they were a 1 seed when they did that. Here's that is a rare thing that basically have the entire NFL community, both the media members and the fans and everything, basically counting this team out, and that they are a win away from the 1 seed and having a potential to run the table in their home stadium. So yes, I do think a lot of people owes Brock Purdy an apology. I'm going to start off with you on this, Marvin. What are you feeling like, man? Because BP's done his thing over the last month and a half.
Listen, Mr. Irrelevant. This guy was the last player drafted in his draft class, which is unbelievable. The NFL prides itself on these quarterback coaches who are gurus, and the Shanahans and all these guys. And Shanahan is a very good coach. I like him a lot. But the reality is, you had 32 teams overlooked him. In the first round, second round, third round, fourth round. You know what I'm saying? And this guy right now, I think he has like 10 touchdowns in his last 2 or 3 games. And he's the first Niner to do that. And you think about an organization that had Steve Young, that had Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, what I'm saying? Able to throw about Jerry Rice. And for what this guy's able to do offensively, yeah, you do owe him an apology. I think what we're seeing and what we saw in that Chicago game is, times are changing. We're seeing young guns really establishing themselves as household names and as elite players. That game with the Bears, I thought they were going to score 100 points total. You know what I'm saying? Because him and Caleb are going back and forth. And it's great because you see what's coming for the NFL. You see, what NFL fans and Niner fans and Bears fans have to look forward to. These young quarterbacks are balling, man, and they're making a name for themselves. The game against the Bears, to me, was a classic, man. Just going down, so much offense in that game. And it was a sight to see, and you see, what the head coach from the Niners, Shanahan, what he's able to do with elite talent. And Brock Purdy, he looks elite, man. Granted, he definitely benefits from that play action game off of Chris McCaffrey. McCaffrey is probably the best running back in the NFL when he's healthy, and any quarterback that's playing with McCaffrey is going to be able to put up numbers because the defense is keying on that running back who's controlling the game and is gashing him, man. But Purdy is special, man. He's a special player. He's somebody who, I think moving forward, we have to start talking his name when we talk about good players and great quarterbacks. What does he need? He needs a championship. See, if you're talking about, the Super Bowl being played in San Fran, there's a lot of games between now and then. I think for Purdy, I think he needs to get over, until you get over that hump and win that conference championship, get in the big game and show you can do that. When you do that, then you're in a different conversation. But right now, everything that we've seen from Brock Purdy coming back from injury, seeing how different his team looks, but without, again, as we mentioned, his Ayuk, a guy who they gave a bag to, thought he was going to be an elite receiver for them. And, you're seeing different guys show up for the Niners. But what's consistent when they're looking good is Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey together. I think that's a powerful tandem. And I think you're going to see the Niners offenses continue to flourish. A lot of games to be played between now and the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens there because you establish a different reputation and a different name when you can win in the playoffs. So we'll see what he does, man. But right now, everybody watching this kid should recognize that he's looking at being one of the best right now. And he's a young gun, and he has a lot of football to go.
Ben, your thoughts on this one? Because, like I said, me and you were definitely hard on Brock this offseason. We were definitely hard on that 49ers front office. They have proven that we don't know what we're talking about this offseason. What are your thoughts, man? What do you got to say, and what do you think that the 49ers can accomplish heading into this postseason?
I think they can go as far as Brock Purdy takes them. I do think, I think people look at criticism the wrong way. But you think we criticize the stuff we don't respect? I'm not going to waste my time on something I don't respect. Brock Purdy, he's Mr. Irrelevant until he's done, but he don't play. Mr. Irrelevant just played the #1 overall pick in 2024. Mr. Irrelevant won, right? That says a lot. Quarterbacks judge themselves on what didn't happen in the draft and who got drafted over him. Well, for Brock Purdy, that's everybody in every draft. That's come and gone, and that will come. What Brock Purdy is the guy that says, okay, you were the guy that won us over. Because nobody expected to get the last pick of the draft. One, not only to start, to even make the team. He's done both. He's already played in the Super Bowl. He signed a big contract in the offseason. Brock Purdy understands what Kyle Shanahan is trying to get done. Kyle Shanahan offenses, and I think you said the best, Bob. If you can go out there and find a way to get the ball to Christian McCaffrey, shame on you. Christian McCaffrey I think it's his third season going over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, all purpose. And Brock Purdy knows that even though I'm Mr. Irrelevant, every time I lose, that's what they're gonna throw back on me. When he was the last pick of the draft, what do you expect? But when he wins, he's elite. He's a good quarterback. He's been in that system a long time. He understands what they're trying to get done. And he's doing it through injuries, which Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, no George Kittle, Trent Williams may be hurt. He's learning I can't make excuses if I'm healthy. If the quarterback is healthy, no excuses. Now, you got a backup quarterback, I get it. But you got Mac Jones with that. But yeah, I think this 49ers team, I think the two people who love Brock Purdy right now is John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. Because they was going to be out of there. If they didn't have a good season this year, with, quote, the easiest schedule in the league, which I don't know how NFL schedules can be easy.
Exactly.
It was going to be really, really difficult for them to come back. But they play in Seattle this weekend for not just tops in the division, but tops in the NFC, period. That says a lot. Brock Purdy is a guy that had staying power. He deals with fair and unfair criticism because of where he plays and the position that he plays. But he's a really, really good QB. He wants to get back to the Super Bowl for the same reason Jalen Hurts did. Hey, man, I got to win it. Because most teams, not going to the playoffs, not going to go deep into the playoffs, ain't going to sniff no NFC Championship game, definitely not no Super Bowl. He's already done that. His resume right now is better than Justin Herbert. It is better than Lamar Jackson's. I'm talking about whole season now. It's better than Josh Allen's. It's better than Bo Nix. It's better than Trevor Lawrence's. And it's better than all these quarterbacks trying to make that's already in the playoffs, right? It's only not better than one guy, and that's Jalen. And I think for a Brock Purdy, it's easy to say this. Everybody say they want the Eagles. They just say that. They don't mean that. They're gonna say it.
Yeah.
I think for Brock Purdy he is the greatest exception to the rule you ever gonna see. He was the last pick doing this. Most last picks in the draft get a jersey and they get to go to Disney World. They have a parade. Well, people say they throw a parade for Mr. Irrelevant. No, they don't. They throw parades at Disneyland. That's just a part of the show. He get to sit in one of them cars, right? But I'm impressed. Brock, let me tell you something. If I'm criticizing you, it's because I watch you. I'm breaking down your game. And once you prove to be a starter, I'm looking at you as all the other 31 starters. Ain't no more Mr. Irrelevant. I don't want
King on deck.
Exactly. So, and the thing is, like I said, San Francisco, great tradition. No longer at Candlestick. They're over there at Levi State. They're over there at Santa Clara. If they have a shot to win, it's because of him. That's taking nothing away from all. And I get it. People said a couple of years back when they went to the Super Bowl, he was a 10th ranked player on his own team. So everybody, the quarterback is not always going to be the best player on the team, right? You want it to be that way. You want it to be that way. It don't always happen that way. You don't believe me? What was that guy's name? What was the guy's name, Steven, when y'all won y'all first Super Bowl? What was the guy's name? The quarterback that won MVP? Was Nick Foles better than Nick Foles ain't better than most of that team.
He wasn't even 10. He was below 10.
So the rules that they try to make up for Brock Purdy, they don't do that for nobody else. They're trying to, if you lose, you just validate what people say about you. But when you win, they got to switch up. Yeah, I know I said he was bad, but yeah, I know I said he couldn't throw, but Jimmy Garoppolo has been to a Super Bowl alone, right? So I'm just saying, I think the young man has grown a lot. His game has come a long way. Part of quarterbacking is understanding how they want me to play, not that I play. What do you need from me? Okay. Game changers have to be game managers first. And he manages the game very well, extremely well. Plus, when you got Christian McCaffrey, hey, man, I'm going to dump it off to him, hand it to him. That's a great gadget to have. But, no, man, it's going to be exciting to see. The NFC West is the most competitive division in football, bar none this year, with the Rams and the Seahawks, right? And obviously talk about the 49ers. It's going to be a gauntlet this weekend. Whoever come out of there, whoever come out with that win. But to the young man for the 49ers, I think your last name is Lenore, saying, I want to shadow Jackson Smith. No, you don't. No, you don't. Listen, stop letting these cameras make you say stuff that's not real. You want to shadow Jackson Smith? No, the only thing that shadows Jackson Smith is his shadow. That's it. Not cornerbacks. But if that's the smoke you want, young man, the world going to be watching. But I'm sure gonna be watching. But here's the thing, Marvin. If the Jets make it to the Super Bowl, do you care where your quarterback ranks? No. What's up with all these rankings, man? I'm so sick of rankings, it's gonna drive me crazy.
We're gonna have to deal with it again this offseason. You know we are.
I know. Listen, but make sure we ranking these coordinators, quarterbacks, coaches, running backs. We got to rank them all now, because it all matters. If my coordinator is ranked 10, but my quarterback's coach is ranked 29, who deal with me more? QB coach. Just saying.
Look, when you one of the things to note here, and one of the telltale signs that a player is about to be good or he's about to be dangerous or it's going to be a problem is when you see these players confident. Y'all see you Brock out there doing the Dougie? Y'all see him out there clowning and smiling and looking fresh and getting down against the Soul Train line? He's happy. He's having a good time, y'all. He ain't hearing none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude out there feeling himself, and that's how you know he's gonna play some good ball. You know what I'm saying? He so listen, there's a tremendous difference in, for me, after my first year going to Green Bay, I feel like I was going to the Pro Bowl. I was so confident. This dude been in the league a couple of years now. He out there dancing. He dancing on national TV prime time, giving you all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude feeling himself, y'all. Y'all should watch out. Brock is coming. He coming.
But see that's something, Marvin, that we'll understand as former players in a different way, because it's somebody on this team saying, dude, you better enjoy this, bro. Let me tell you something. Yeah. You know how many players look back on their careers and it wasn't the games or how they wanted to play, it's how they were. Dude, I didn't want to spend your whole career rigid, uptight. We're pros, and you got different kinds of pros. There are pros that everything is buttoned up. The guys that wear suits to preseason games, them guys pros now. They'll wear suits to a game that don't even matter. Right. But then you got guys like the Chad Ochocinco's that say, wait a minute. As long as you handle your business on the field, I will be myself now. Because everybody ain't super duper serious. Everybody ain't, hey man, stop all that noise. I remember when I was with the Titans my rookie year, I done heard of yoga. I ain't never done it. So we doing yoga. Now mind you, I'm like, what we need these mats for? They giving us these mats within this bubble. And Kevin Carter, former Florida Gator, 100-sack guy, won the Super Bowl with the 99 Rams, just everything. They got all the rookies in the back. I don't know why we got to be in the back. And I'm like, who is this lady? She telling us to do downward dog, a bunch of stuff I ain't never done. We back there talking. And Kevin Carter says, hey, if you're a veteran, you can say whatever you want. Hey, rookies, shut up that noise back there. He kind of said it over his shoulder. You know what we said, Marv? He talking to you. He talking to me. It's one of those things, though. But then Keith Bullock, former Syracuse safety, everything linebacker for the Titans, said, Man, Kev, cut that out. But he said it to Kev for all of us to hear him. Man, KC, cut that out. Because what he's saying is, dude, don't be trying to shape how they are because they don't know how to be yet. If you were Ricky, you don't know what you can and can't say, do and can't do. But what it is somebody told Brock, man, do that thing, which means he been practicing in the locker room now. But here's the thing, though, Marv. Will he hit it in the playoffs? Did he score? Will he really hit it?
Yeah.
Because people think those type of things don't matter, and it does. Look, your experiences could be shaped or ruined by the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
The right person influenced you. It was the greatest time. The wrong person, because when people ask people, hey man, what you miss the most about the league? Do you ever hear people say, I wish I would have made the Pro Bowl? Yeah, you want to make a Super Bowl? That would have been great. Man, I missed the locker room. I miss those some of the most influential guys. And listen, just say Marvin ain't a dancer. His wife can't get in the dance. Marv scored a touchdown and he jamming. His wife is like, really? And he like, babe, I got these young boys. I'm gonna hit that thing. It's like it's stuff. I played with Jared Payton, the son of Walter Payton. All he wanted to do was score 8 touchdowns. Think about it. You know, his daddy is probably the GOAT in some people's eyes, the running back, and rightfully so. He said, Troupe, all I want to do is get in the end zone. We play in Houston, our second year, and he get in the zone. And he said, Troupe, I could have ran out the field. I could have just ran back in the locker room. To me, I remember stuff like, I said, wait a minute. Now, he couldn't even wear number 34. Couldn't wear his daddy's number. Wore number 4, I think. Got in the zone and said, Troupe, I can go back to Chicago and get ready for my inheritance. I said, what is that? I said, you got a what? Trust fund, baby. Which I ain't mad at him. Wish I was a trust fund, baby. So, yeah, Brock, I'm going to say this to you, Brock. If you're going to hit that thing. Because, listen, Steven, not to make this a white guy thing or a black guy thing, but white guys that can dance. Now, John Travolta, Brock Purdy, Travis Kelce. It ain't a lot of y'all now. It ain't a lot. But when Travis Kelce used to dance, he used to hit that thing. When Travis Kelce used to dance, so I'm going to compare Brock. I didn't get a chance to see him hit it, Marv. But if he hit it,
he was doing his thing. He was doing his thing, man. But when I saw him doing it, I was like, man, he feeling himself. He knows.
I like it, man.
Yeah,
he's enjoying. Somebody has given him permission to enjoy himself, as long as what I do don't take away from the field. Because that's all they're gonna say, right? Enjoy yourself, Steven, but don't take away from the field. All right, as long as my play don't go down, because I want to see. I want to see it. I mean, what happened to the dancing, man? Where the robot at, man? Where did he let you slide at? Detroit, sorry, y'all ain't in the playoffs, so y'all do the more choreography. Y'all gone. I want to see him hit that because I guarantee you he gonna start a meme. That dude getting his own in the playoffs, he get to hit that thing. The Dougie gonna have a reboot. He about to reboot the Dougie. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Well, listen, I think everyone can admit that Brock Purdy should be one of these names that should be on everyone's top 10 list. He put this team on his shoulder. Injuries at all. Obviously, missed a few games due to injury, but what he's doing right now, you got to give him his flowers. You got to give him his credit, and it's one of these things we see. It's hard because the perception of what we want out of the quarterback is just it's ever evolving. It's changing. We thought we know what a elite quarterback is or what QB1 is, and I think it's been changed a lot over the years from multiple different quarterbacks. Not everyone's going to be Tom Brady. Not everyone's going to be Patrick Mahomes. You don't need to be the best quarterback in the NFL for your team to be successful, for you to win Super Bowls. If you play within your team and you do what your team asks of you, that's all you really need to do. And it's just so weird, guys like Brock get completely torn down and just doesn't get the credit. I'm even going to bring up, Sunday afternoon. Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts play each other. Real tight playoff type game, weather, but everyone's talking about what Jalen Hurts didn't do in the second half. Well, I'm going to pull something up for you guys. This is hilarious to me, right? Which one is it? This one. So this is from Sports Illustrated, right? literally posts right on top of each other. We're talking about Jalen Hurts struggled against the Bills on Sunday, right? The post right underneath that from the same game, it's I trust Josh Allen with the balls in his hand, and I would do it all over again after he misses the extra point to win the game, right? So my thing on that one is like when you look at it, like if Jalen Hurts did what Josh Allen did during that game, if he loses a fumble, and loses, it was for 27 yards the other way, it'd be everyone talking about it. You took a sack for a 21-yard loss on a third and 8 while you were in field goal range. You never hear the end of it. And if Jalen Hurts would have missed a 2-point conversion to end the game, it would be national news today. So why don't we judge Jalen Hurts on the same rate in the same respect that we get Josh Allen on? It's the same thing with Brock Purdy. And one of the commenters said it in the chat, and it's because he has a coach like a Kyle Shanahan that he's never going to get the love that he deserves. He's never going to get the respect that he deserves. And as Ben was mentioned, it's another reason because he was Mr. Irrelevant as well. He is, for the bulk of his career, Super Bowls or not, moving forward, that is something he's going to be having to fight with every game, every week, every season, every off season. And we need to, as content creators, as fans, as people who love the NFL, we have to force these discussions because the narrative that some of these media heads have out there, what should the top quarterback be, has to change. Go ahead, Marvin. I know you're waiting on this one.
No. I was just going to say, and Ben said it earlier, the reality is Jimmy G went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Earlier this year, you had a few people in love with Mac Jones, you know what I mean? And now it's Brock Purdy. The common denominator is the head coach, you know what I mean? So in situations where a head coach can have, season-long success, a few game success, with different quarterbacks, then you automatically look at the head coach. You don't look at that quarterback. It's hard to give the quarterback the praise when the head coach has been doing it, without that quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it comes down to. With Jalen Hurts, man, again, I think his style of play, a lot of his story in that he got benched at Alabama, had to transfer. He wasn't a first-round draft pick. The tush push is the play that you're going to see a statue outside of the stadium in Philadelphia with him in the tush push. But the reality is his game is more than that. You know what I mean? But it's very subjective. I think people get into their feelings about his past, his history, his style of play, and it's just hard to put him up against a Josh Allen who, I mean, we've been on Josh Allen for a minute here. You know what I'm saying? And I do think that Josh Allen and Hurts are different players. The sad part about it is that Hurts has the Super Bowl. Hurts, he has the big games. He's won the big game. He's been to the big game. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, man, we have a hard time attributing the success of his team to him the way we do with other players. You know what I'm saying? And it's I don't know how he's going to get out of that, to be honest with you. He can win more Super Bowls, but that doesn't really solve the problem for him. And it's a tough situation, man. But I think Hurts is always going to be considered, at least, at this point, he's just being considered as, I'm not going to say a second-tier quarterback because he's not, but we just don't look at him as those guys who, are just airing it out, you know what I mean, and just running around. He's viewed differently. Why is that? Like I said, I think there are a lot of reasons why to that, man, but he's in a tough situation up there. I do, especially as you're playing with Saquon Barkley, who gets a lot of pub as he should. You're playing, Philly has a great defense, great front seven, which really all Super Bowl winning champions have. If you look at the history of them, they all have a great defense, good defense. But people have a hard time giving credit to Jalen Hurts. And because of the success of Kyle Shannon that he's had with other quarterbacks, people have a hard time saying, well, it's because of Brock. You know what I'm saying? Look at Brock. And that's just kind of what you go through, man. In the NFL, you got to earn it. You got to keep earning it. It's about consistency. And Brock and Jalen are going to have to, and they're not the same because Jalen is a Super Bowl champion quarterback. And he's gotten over that hump and he's played big in big games. But, they have to just keep winning, man. They got to keep winning. They have to be the ones under center. They're going to have to be the ones throwing the winning touchdown pass, the winning touchdown run without the tush push. This is what's going to have to happen for them to get the respect they're looking for, I think.
Ben.
Jalen Hurts understands this. Certain guys just carry on the legacy of the teams they play for. Do you know how hated Donovan McNabb was when he was an Eagle? God, they hated him. God, people hated. They hated him around the league. And I'm just, I like to go through stats. Donovan McNabb had 234 touchdowns, 234 touchdowns, 117 picks, 37,276 yards. Right? You know what's crazy about that? I'm looking at this guy's stats right here. This other guy had 237 touchdowns, 175 picks, 35,000. The second guy was Jim Kelly. Donovan McNabb had better numbers than Jim Kelly. Who's more loved? Jim Kelly, right? Josh Allen has an MVP. Jalen Hurts got a Super Bowl MVP. And you would think, but we've already fallen in love with one. Josh Allen gets credit for doing everything on the offense that doesn't have anybody but him. Jalen gets no credit because he has everybody. I got Saquon and AJ and Devonta, and the list goes on and on. This is why Jalen Hurts is built to be a Philadelphia Eagle. When Jalen Hurts said, look, man, I had a purpose way before y'all had an opinion. Y'all talk and I let y'all talk all day. I'm doing it. And guess what? People say, who can the Eagles ill afford to lose to win? Jalen. They cannot lose him and win. Jalen Carter have been in and out of the lineup. Jordan Davis got better numbers than Jalen Carter. Who's a Pro Bowler? Jalen Carter, right? We've already made up our mind who's who. And we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that, right? We shouldn't do that. AJ Brown said it best. Well, listen, man, if we ain't going to get done, that means Saquon Barkley, sorry, I'm sorry. No, just because I ain't what I once was don't mean I'm not him still now. It's not going to be the same. But let me tell you what Jalen Hurts is. He's quiet and he's consistent. He's both. I ain't going to say a lot. I'm going to answer questions because I have to. I'm not going to give you no bulletin board material. But for everybody that don't think I'm that good, play me. Play me. Guess what? You don't think pressure is a real thing? Not only did that receiver come open, he was wide open. Josh Allen felt that he missed the throw. Now, when the Josh Allen, oh, man, he usually makes that. Now, if that's Jalen, they're going to crucify him. Oh, my God, this is why. But sometimes it's because one team has had 2 Super Bowls in recent years. The other team trying to get over that Super Bowl hump. And all of a sudden, we start rooting for these players and teams to do something they ain't never done. Jalen said, I'm trying to add to my resume because I'm going to keep saying this. Who was the SEC freshman of the year when they got Jalen Hurts? Who was 26-2 as a starter and got benched? Jalen Hurts. Who was the Heisman Trophy runner-up? Jalen Hurts. Who's done more since he's been drafted? He's done more than Brock. He's done more than Lamar. He's done more than Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, right? And the list goes on and on. There's only one current quarterback that's done more than Jalen Hurts, and his name is Patrick Mahomes. He's the only one. Maybe Matthew Stafford. He's won a Super Bowl, right? But Jalen's been the 2 of them. So what I'm saying is, let me tell you what we don't do to Josh that we do to Jalen. Criticism. They don't criticize Josh Allen like they should. Josh Allen should get just as much criticism. But Josh Allen, he got these stats. He make these wild plays. Oh, my goodness. Man, Jalen Hurts he said, look, nothing against Buffalo. You got to be a different type of animal to play in Philly. You got to be built different mentally, emotionally. And I think Jalen just sit back and goes, I ain't going to have nothing to say. But when my career's – but you don't think Jalen Hurts is confident? As soon as he won the Super Bowl MVP, what did Jordan do? Cue the commercial. They cued that thing. They anticipated that.
Ben, look like this, Ben. What would Buffalo be without Josh Allen versus Philly, where they're built without Jalen Hurts? You're talking about 2 different scenarios. If Buffalo, Allen, the Bills would be
all right, here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing, though, right? Here's the thing. And you could be right. I am not saying you're wrong, right?
Steve, you agree to that.
I agree, but here's the thing, though. Since Donovan McNabb left, we ain't seen as much winning in Philly. Would you agree? When Donovan was there, they was winning.
Right.
Jalen just sat back and go, dude, what school did Josh Allen go to? Wyoming? Right? That's on the team. Jalen Hurts went to Alabama. Nick Saban was the coach. You think he ducking smoke? You think he can't handle pressure?
No.
And I get it, though, Marv, like we say. The fullback is not in the NFL because people don't appreciate the position. It's not because it's not needed. It's because they don't appreciate it. If I had to ask you guys this, who's the best defensive player you ever seen? Like the best you ever seen?
Eddie's comments here is spot on. Eagles would still be a playoff caliber team.
Those
would be the Raiders.
That's what I'm saying. So they're not the same. They're not the same.
Listen, and guess what? When people ask me, who's the best defensive player I've ever seen from size, ability, what he did, I say Julius Peppers. People go, yeah, but I say before you say he's not, what if I told you Julius Peppers is 4th all time in sacks? 4. What if I told you Julius Peppers has double-digit interceptions? What if I told you Julius Peppers has 7 career touchdowns? That's him. What we do, I'm saying that to say, I'm not gonna tell if people say, hey Ben, talk to me about running backs. I'm gonna say, go holler at Marv. Why? Because Marv really know. I'm telling you what I see.
I'm glad you're flexing the running backs, Ben, because we do got to talk about a running back today. Because King Henry did his thing last week. But not just that, because I briefly touched on it last night. He did 2 big things in that game. He officially became 10th all time in rushing yards, right? He's on the top 10 list. This is the guys that are in front of him. This is the company that he's keeping, right?
Yeah.
And on that, when you look at the all-time rushing touchdown list, he just passed AP. He's 2 away from Marcus Allen.
That's crazy, man.
Catching Emmitt Smith in the next 2 seasons is a real possibility.
He might catch Emmitt in the touchdowns. He ain't gonna catch him in a yard. He could probably get him a TD. Yeah.
Yards is gonna be rough. What Emmitt had 1,800,
18,000, something crazy. He got them Jerry Rice numbers, man. I don't think them numbers gonna be touched ever, ever.
So, I'm starting with you on this, and then we'll go back to Marvin. Where are you putting Derrick Henry at now? Because he's getting into that elite class of running back, and we haven't seen that since LaDainian Thomas. And let's be honest, we've had a lot of great running backs in this league, right?
Okay. All right.
Years, but
I'm gonna say this. Whoa. Where do I rank him, Steven? I'm gonna say this because I don't judge quarterback. I don't judge individual players on team success. Like Super Bowls, that's a team thing, right? This is no lie. If Derrick Henry continues what he's doing, even if he don't get all the records, he might be the greatest running back up. Not the greatest, but the best. Not the greatest. Because the greatest, you got to win everything. Like Super Bowls, the best. I'm gonna tell you why the best. This is why. I can only call you the best if I go back this far, Marvin. Who has the most rushing yards in the high school history? That's Derrick Henry. That's Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Right? Derrick Henry won the Heisman in college. He won a national championship, right? So he did that. 2,000-yard boom. He's a part of the 2,000-yard rush club, right? The elite, right? Here's the thing, though, Marvin. Here's the thing, right? What's the likelihood of a player who was touted to do all that? What is he going to do to get to the league? He's going to be all right. Who do we think that would who I thought would reshape the running back position forever? Reggie Bush. I said, this dude going to reshape everything, but the league is different, right? Derrick Henry, to me, is the Calvin Johnson of running backs. He looks how he plays. You see how he look? That's how he plays. He ain't known for hitting the hole, like having that vision like LaDainian Thomas or LaShawn McCoy. But what he is I'm 6'2", 250, and I'm coming at you. And here's the thing. Saquon had 2,000 in 2024. Didn't he have over 1,900 in 2024? I didn't say the great. I took back the greatest, Marvin. He will never be the greatest. Never. Greatest and best to me is different. I don't think greatest and best is the same.
I understand that.
But the best, I think he got a shot to be the best because never thought I'd see another Eddie George or Brandon Jacobs. Guys that big, right? Yeah. Derrick Henry rushed for 216 yards the other night. He's 30 years old. That boy got kids and I'm just saying, look, I think you got different tiers, right? But as far as like just a big back that can flex, he is Earl Campbell without getting hurt. Because Earl Campbell got hurt.
Yeah, and
See what I'm
that's
saying? So I'm saying this respectfully. I'm never gonna put nobody over Walter. I'm never gonna put nobody over Juice. I'm not gonna put nobody over. I'm not doing that. O.J. Simpson and LaDainian Thompson and Walter Payton and Barry Simpson. I'm not doing that. I'm not. That's why I said let me stay away from that greatest word. I'm not doing that. That's that. But the best, I think he got a shot to be the best, man, because he's gonna be in the top 5 in all major categories. Yards, he's already top 4 touchdowns. And the thing about it is we want to talk about everybody with Derek, don't we? Saquon and Jonathan Taylor. These guys, great players now. Derek Henry outplayed all of them. And he's still
doorbell's ringing. You guys got
so hey man, so yeah. The best, not the greatest.
All right, so we had one. Yeah. We had a request for me to put the stats back up again. So I'm gonna put it back up. Then I'm gonna have to bounce out of here for 1 second because the doorbell's ringing.
And I saw Marvin's face when I said the great. I stay away from that G word, and I stay away from that.
So there's your top 10 list, right? And that's some special names there. So Marvin, you go on this. I'm gonna have to answer my doorbell here real fast.
Right. So let me say this to you guys. The main thing about Derrick Henry that I appreciate the most is his style of play and his ability to do it year in and year out.
Yes.
The human body was not made for NFL football at all. Okay.
No.
Listen, by the time I was in college, by the time my senior year, I'm getting shot up with Toradol before every game. Pain pills is part of the deal. You know what I'm saying? The fact that this dude is in the NFL playing physical the way he plays, and you don't see him with a ton of injuries. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
It's just, that puts him in a different category. Now, in regards to, he's being the best, and you mentioned the names. He's a big guy. Jim Brown was a big guy. Derrick Henry's not Jim Brown. O.J. Simpson was a big guy. Okay, the Juice ran for 2,000 yards in 14 games in cold-ass Buffalo with an offense that had no passing game. All right. Derrick Henry deserves to be mentioned among the best. The numbers say that, and his style of play say that. I love the way he plays the game without question. I think that, the running back position, in order to be on that list that Steve had put up, you got the number one criteria, you better be tough.
The yards?
I mean, you got look at them dudes. Look who's on that list. These are straight dogs. Guys who, look, Barry was quick. Barry was tough. You know what I'm saying? Curtis was a scat back. Curtis was tough. LT was tough. Bettis, I'm not even going to get into that because we already know what that is. And ED would knock you out with his knees. You know what I'm saying? He's running with high knees, knocking fools out left and right. The fact that Derrick Henry has made it in the NFL long enough to run for 12,000 yards, almost 13,000 yards, with his style of play is incredible to me. I absolutely believe he is one of the best to ever play the game.
Yes.
He is, question, a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's somebody who I would have loved to play with and whose game I've always respected. I didn't think, listen, when he was in Alabama, I didn't think he was going to go to the NFL and do what he did. Alabama, I forgot, I think Trey Richardson was a running back that won the Heisman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
no. Clayton was the one. Mark Clayton. Mark Ingram.
They had another one. They had another one.
Yeah, Trent. Mark Ingram won. Mark Ingram won. He's the first ever Heisman, and Trent Richardson played. Then Derrick Henry came behind him.
Okay. I thought
King got it. This is where I was saying of this era. He has to be.
I mean, but you know what Derrick Henry really has done? To those fringe running backs that wanted to get in the Hall of Fame, because of this, they ain't gonna get in. Because they compare you to who's around you. No, and they're gonna say, I'm telling you, Derrick Henry is cheat code, man.
I learned football from my dad. He played O-line in the 80s and the 70s for the NFL. My whole mentality toward football is physicality. Like that's what you need to win. That's what you need to play. Derrick Henry epitomizes that. Plus, he has top end speed, which is crazy. This dude pulls away from DBs. This dude's like 230, 240. He's pulling away from DBs. He's the linebacker. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's been doing it now. How long has he been in the league for? A decade? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. I think like 9 years.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, if we're talking about only this era, then he probably is the best in this era, to be honest with you. And you definitely put him on the list of the other all-time greats. Yards, it's hard to use yards to say who's great and who's not. You know what I'm saying? Because you got people who say Gale Sayers was better than Autumn dude. You know what I'm saying? So his style of play, his consistency.
That's not even a fair comparison. But Bo was injured, man. Bo was injured.
I mean, but like you said, it's like this. When people start saying, I learned that when we say the word best, right, that means that, look, man, you were one of the best to ever do it, but greatest. So when you start using that G word, you got to be careful now, because now we're comparing styles, and people say, all right, what makes a person great? Turn on 4 plays of Barry Sanders. Turn it off. That's all I got to say. Turn on 4 plays of
dominance and consistency.
Yes, and so look, I appreciate the fact that I remember when Kobe said what he loved the most about Shaq, he wanted to be a big dude. He wanted to be big down low. Derrick Henry plays big. Derrick Henry got one of the craziest stiff arms you ever seen. And I think for a guy like Derrick Henry from Yulee, Florida, right there, real close to Jacksonville, Florida, right there across the Florida-Georgia line, for him to do what he's done, and I'm gonna tell you what he's really doing. He's killing the myth of running backs are done at 30. That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
And so
now,
crazy.
We got down to the last 20 minutes. There's a couple of topics I want to get to. Wanted to get to bring out Derrick Henry. Has got the chat room going nuts. But let's talk about the finalist list is here, right? So obviously we got some stuff to talk about. I seen his name mentioned in the chat. Some of the 49er fans were going nuts over the fact that we have Frank Gore on the list, right? Frank Gore is on the list.
Yep.
So
third all time Russia. Yep.
But Drew Brees, Jahiri Evans, Larry Fitzgerald, as I mentioned, Frank Gore, Torrey Holt, Luke Kuechly, because we were talking about him, right? Luke is on the list. Eli is on the list, as we've had a lot to sit there and say about Eli. Terrell Suggs, Adam Vinatieri, Reggie Wayne, Kevin Williams, Jason Witten, Darrell Woodson, and Marshall Yanda. Now, we already went through the senior committee's list a few weeks ago. This is, the contemporary list for the current players. Who are you feeling on this one? Like this is I think this is probably one of the tougher ones that we've seen for our finalist list as we're getting up there. If you guys are putting this in there,
I agree with Eddie. Yeah.
Brees and Fitzgerald should be no-brainers. I agree. Drew Brees, just it's the fact that he's literally like inches behind Tom Brady outside of everything but Super Bowl. I think he absolutely have to. Larry Fitzgerald is a must. I don't know if Adam Vinatieri he should get in, but I don't think this is the year he gets in. I'll pull the list right back up again real quick. Like, is there? I think. Me and Ben were talking about is Luke Kuechly. I think, in my opinion, is a no-brainer.
Yes. I mean, this list right here, I would go Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Terrell Suggs, and maybe Reggie Wayne. This go around.
But really, I think everybody on that list, to me,
is a Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Hold on. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? Take away.
No.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
If Eli Manning wasn't a Manning, his last name is so people act like that ain't a factor. And it is. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Are you telling me if Nick Foles has 2 Super Bowl MVPs, he's a Hall of Fame?
Exactly.
Doesn't regular season matter? Yeah. Obviously it don't. I think it's Larry Fitzgerald is second all time in catches, second all time in yards behind Jerry. Drew Brees, I think, is in the top 3 of most passing yards. I think Luke Kuechly played on like 8 years. He was like a 7-time first team All-Pro. He was the defensive player of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Terrell Suggs, I think, is like top 7 or 8 in sacks, and he was a defensive player of the year. along with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed on that same defense. And Reggie Wayne,
faithful.
What about Witten? Witten should be in that top list.
Witten is up there, but the reason why I would put Wayne over Witten is this at least this time is for this reason. The greatest show on or Torrey Holt, the greatest show on turf, it was Kurt Warner, it was Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk. So all the other guys are in except Torrey Holt. When it was it was Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Dallas Clark. What was the other? Reggie Wayne. So Dallas Clark and Reggie Wayne ain't in yet, but
they're on.
Larry Fitzgerald first ballot, Drew Brees, Luke Kuechly, Terrell. Any one of those guys, you could name any one of all those guys are deserving. Once again, I don't like this waiting process. Make them wait. Don't give Jason with the top receiver.
I'm saying it this way. I want more than 5 in this year. I want more than 5 in this year.
Well, the all-time receiving list, number 1 is Jerry. Number 2 is Larry. Number 2 is Antonio. Number 2 is Tony Gonzalez. Guess who number 4 is?
Jason
Witten. He's number 4. Respect that man. 2 tight ends in the top 4 all time. Put that man in. But you know why they're scared to put him in? They're gonna be like, well, if you put Witten in, you got to consider Tony Romo. No, you don't. No, you do not. You don't got to consider Tony Romo. But I mean, you know who names ain't gonna be on these lists no more. We were just talking about Derrick Henry, the LaShawn McCoys. It's gonna be hard for those guys to make these top 5 lists now because of the Saquon and the Jonathan Taylors and the Adrian Petersons and the Derrick Henrys. That's their list.
Again, he's being mentioned in the chat. Where do you guys put Frank Gore on it? Because he
absolutely
he is on that Russian list, right?
Yeah,
number 3.
Yeah,
number 3 all time.
Yeah. Old school back, back, tough. Caught the ball at the backfield, ferocious at picking up the blitz. That's something that I appreciate. Frank was violent picking up the blitz against linebackers. Forget how hard he ran and for how many yards he ran for it. I do play with violence, similar to Derrick Henry as we're talking about. But probably, I mean, Frank was up there playing violently, man. So I have a tremendous respect for how he played the game. And he played for a long time through injuries. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
From injuries. He tore both his. I think he tore 3 ACLs. He had 3 ACL injuries, I think. You know what I'm saying? So came back from that. He did that in college. So
you know what's crazy about Frank Gore, Stephen Elmore? In
Eddie,
2002,
that's because you're a Cowboys fan. Let's stop that.
Hold on. In 2002, right? Remember when Willis McGahee got his knee tore up in the national championship game against Ohio State?
Yeah.
You know who was supposed to be the starter? Frank Gore was the backup behind Clinton Portis, but he got hurt. That's how Willis McGahee played. Willis McGahee got to play because Frank Gore got hurt. Frank Gore is so underappreciated. He's so disrespected. Let me tell you something. Everybody ain't gonna make all pros. You might not even make Pro Bowls and all that. He's not Frank. Steven, you would appreciate this. Frank Gore is the Jalen Hurts of running backs. People don't like it. Look at the numbers. They don't. Yeah. They was like, he got how many yards? 16 bands. And you better put that man in. That's a lot of yards from scrimmage, people. That's all rushing.
Again, I've been very adamant about this. I don't like the Hall of Fame voting process in any of the 4 major sports, but NFL and Major League Baseball has a logjam of guys that should be getting in. If in a perfect world we get 2 handfuls of guys that get in. I'd like to see both the 49er running backs get in. I'd like to see Gore get in. I would also like to see Roger Craig get in from the senior committee.
The fact that Roger Craig ain't in is a trap. The fact that Roger Craig ain't in is the biggest crime. Look, Roger Craig went up to Christian McCaffrey on one of these. I think they were having a Monday night game, and he said, "How you doing, Mr. Craig?" He said, "Man, you remind me of me out there." What? Oh, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this.
Everyone, Eddie. I just said that there is a logjam of guys that have the credentials, have the numbers, have everything they need to, and then for whatever reason they don't wind up getting in. We wind up having these Hall of Fame class that has like 2 or 3 people in it. When you have 10 handfuls of players, both senior committee and the contemporary list that deserves to be in. And absolutely, King on deck. It's an absolute travesty that we're talking 20 years that this guy's been waiting around. He was one of the first guys to really do it in the modern age, to have 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000.
He was the first. He was the first to have 1,000 and 1,000. Not one of the first. He was the first.
And so the fact that we're sitting here 20 some odd years later and he still isn't in is an absolute travesty. And this is what I'm talking about. The Hall of Fame committee needs to be redone. The only people that should be able to vote for it is veterans and ex Hall of Famers. Take the freaking writers out of it. Take the media out of it. They have no business voting for it when they had nothing to do but write about the game. Should they have a vote? Sure. One vote per the media. That's it. You guys get to vote one person in. That is it. The rest is taken care of by the veterans, by the alumni, by the Hall of Famers. It is sickening that we have they created this whole list of the older players that they get a second chance to get. They should have gotten in on the first chance.
Steve.
Yes, Hall of Famers are very simple. Give me the name. If I don't got to think about it. Right? Yep. You only got it for Roger Craig. Yep. Give me another name. You're gonna have fringe guys, right? You're gonna have Roger Craig. Sometimes Roger Craig was so good when he was with the 49ers. Sometimes you forget Jerry and them on the outside. He was that good. He was that good.
Bill Walsh was a great talent evaluator. If people don't know, Bill Walsh, he created the West Coast offense. Every single NFL team ran the ran the West Coast offense, in the 90s and the early 2000s. It was the Bill Walsh offense. But if you look at Bill Walsh when he was at his best with the Niners in Montana, that offense went through Roger Craig. The same offense that had Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and the tight ends and Rathman and that great offensive line that offense went through Roger Craig. This is back when football ran through the tailback. Before, even though Joe Montana was a star and we had Marino and those guys, that offense went through the running back. And what did the running back give you? As Steve said earlier, in one season, 1,000 yards rushing, okay, and 1,000 yards receiving. That was unheard of. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he was so instrumental in what was created, what was one of the greatest offenses under one of the greatest coaches ever, the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame is just insane. And to Steve's point, whoever's voting on this and leaving Roger Craig out, I mean, it's a crime, man. And for those who know, they got to get that right. You're talking about one of the greatest to ever do it. And, if you didn't see him play, I encourage you to go YouTube to watch him run them high knees and the speed and the power. Craig was a dog. He was a dog amongst dogs out there, for real.
Yeah, loving the comments in the chat today, but going to have to quickly get off of this one. Obviously, we can talk about this for hours. This could be a whole episode of ripping apart the Hall of Fame voting, but we're into the last week. A lot of people are basically like, oh, this is a throwaway game. It doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of meaning to this week. Look at this incentives list for players right now that have something to play for this week, right? You have Keenan Allen. He needs 6 catches to get $750K. Kendrick Bourne, he only needs 49 yards receiving to get $750K. Marquise Brown, he needs 1 touchdown to get $750K. Trevon Diggs needs 30 receiving yards and 8 receptions to get $500K and $500K. Sam Darnold, he needs 3 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, and 150 plus yards rushing for him to get $500K and $500K.
What does DK Metcalf need? No.
As you were talking about it, we were talking about it last week. They will not take his money from him. They will not take his.
DK Metcalf better be lucky he works for one of the classiest organizations. If DK Metcalf played for the Bengals or the Browns,
they avoided that immediately. But Mac Hollins needs 4 catches for $400K. Rico Dilwiddle needs 1 touchdown for $250K. Saquon Barkley needs 87 total yards for $250K. Tony Pollard 65 yards rushing for $250K. Kirk Cousins needs 3 passing TDs to tie John Elway all time. Ben's your favorite dude, and obviously I think now we can officially say asterisk involved if Myles Garrett gets that
Absolutely
sack.
asterisk. Absolutely.
It is,
I love him.
and I hope they do the same thing Pittsburgh did last week. I mean, the whole world needs to look.
They do not want him to break that sack record. That's a sin. What Pittsburgh did to it. They did everything they in their power to make sure everything's going away from where Myles Garrett is.
That's going to be a highlight forever. That's going to be a negative highlight for them forever, for Pittsburgh. So, you kind of get that but winning the game is a priority. But Steve, you said it, man, the asterisk, there's a difference between the guys who did it in 14 games, did it in 16 games, and did it in 17 games. We got to respect that and put that in different categories to me.
You do.
It's definitely got to put it in a category, but there's a lot. Like, listen, a lot of people were upset about the adding the extra game. Oh, there's nothing to play for, stuff like that. When you look at, there's still a lot to play for multiple teams. The Ravens and the Steelers are playing for the division title in a playoff spot. We were just talking about the 49ers and the Seahawks are playing for a number one seed. You have the Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers playing for their division in the last week. The Eagles aren't playing for anything anymore. It was announced just as we went on the show. We are resting our starters. They have a potential to get the second seed, but they need the Chicago Bears to lose to the Detroit Lions. Obviously, they deem that's not going to happen. But you still have the Broncos and the Patriots are battling for the number one seed as we're going into the last week of the season.
You got Carolina and the Bucks battling for the whoever win that gonna win the division as well.
Yeah, and even more so is the Texans and the Jaguars played the last week of the season too. So there's more at stake in the last week of this season than we probably have since they added the extra game. So a lot of people who are upset about this might want to just check those emotions a little bit. I get it, I do. But I think there's more to play in the final 2 weeks of this season than we have in quite some time. The incentives part of it, that's for the players and their money and their the stuff like that. But as a whole, you see a lot of guys are having a lot of guys and a lot of teams have a lot to play for as we come into this final week. Last 3 minutes or so, guys, go off on this. Let's start with Ben.
I'm happy at the fact that it is meaningful football. You talk about the Jags and the Texans. I mean, you talk about the Bucks in Carolina. You talk about Seattle. And the 49ers. You talk about these incentives. You talk about Denver. And Buffalo. Some really, really good football. But a player that doesn't get enough credit because he's outplayed everybody and nobody thought he was going to do what he do. Freaking Bo Nix got a shot to have Denver as the number one seed. Stop playing with this young man. Like the guy that started his career off at Auburn, he ended up out there with Dan Lanning to get drafted the first round. He's done two things. One, he showed that Russell Wilson wasn't ready to play out there with the Denver Broncos. And two, he has outplayed everybody in his rookie class and then some for playoffs 2 years in a row, get a chance to be the number one seed. Ain't nobody trying to deal with Patrick Surtain and that defense in Mile High if they do indeed get the number one seed. Watch out for them.
Marvin, your thoughts?
I hope that these teams are doing this stuff in good faith. In 1999, when I was with the Saints, we played the Carolina Panthers our last game. Willie Clay, one of our safeties, he needed tackles or a pick or something for his bonus. The Saints started him and then took him out before halftime so he couldn't hit his bonus. I hope that these teams out here ain't doing that. I hope that's something I hope that that's not really an active thing that's still going on because he was demonstrative, justifiably on the sideline when Dicker pulled him out the game. It was a crime.
Yeah, I'm glad there's a lot to play for. We got a lot of fun stuff going on. Obviously, another great show in it. The 49ers fans are not stopping in the chat today. They're making sure it's known to wear black for the
bang bang, not again. Okay,
of the Seattle Seahawks in their number one seed. I do hope the Niners win it because what makes good football is stories. is some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Having the 49ers here with the potential to be able to do this, I think, is a great story for the NFL. As we're closing this one up, as we're saying goodbye, I'm going to end it with this. Make sure you guys are tuning in tonight. Marvin, the Motor City Madman, Scott Morgan are doing their thing. Other than that, I'm Steve. This was another fun episode